Welcome back to another one, guys. Today I'm just going to be once again answering a question I get asked quite a bit at work. And this one is how to attach lures properly. I have all sorts of people ask me how to attach lures. They're not sure what knots, or if they should use big swivels or speed clips, or they just don't know. So what we're going to do today is just run through a few different lures here and the way I've got them set up. Okay, it's nothing too hard. Just give you an idea on how you should really put your lures on. Okay. The one thing I do see a lot of people when I come into the shop and say they're not catching much or it's not working is, I haven't got a really big swivel to show you, unfortunately, but people have got like lures and then they've got these huge snaps hanging off the end of them. Even like little lures like this with these big hunking snaps like right in the end of them, and that's just going to interfere with your lure and your action. Like, that's not too bad on that one, but still I'd go smaller. They're usually just big snaps, and I'm thinking, no, that's just not going to help her. Okay, so we'll start off with, if we got lures without any rings or anything on it, like these casting slugs from Samaki, there's no split ring on the end, it's just a loop. All I usually do is just tie a loop knot. Okay, just a good old-fashioned loop knot. It gives the lure plenty of action, plenty of freedom to swing around. Just a basic loop knot. Guys, if you're not sure how to tie a loop knot, they're all over YouTube, they're everywhere. They're not that hard to tie or find. So just kind of look at a loop knot. Just tie your lures on. That's probably the easiest way. That's most people with most lures do that. Like I said, just a loop knot, even with something like that's just a wormhole kind of big plastic. There's no split ring or ring on the end. So I like a loop knot to give the lure a bit more freedom. Okay? The only time I'm going to tie them on straight on with a uni knot, because the uni knot's the only knot I usually tie, is when they've got a split ring on the end, like that one. You'll see there, she's got a split ring on the end, and that's got a uni knot fixed straight on, because that lure's still got plenty of freedom on the split ring. Okay, tying a uni knot, you're not going to interfere with the action, and I like the uni knots. They're just a good all round easy knot to tie, and they're strong. Probably one of the best knots you can tie. So that's how simple it is. Just uni knots on most things with a split ring, or if it's got a ring on the end where the lure's got plenty of freedom. If it hasn't, like so, just tie a loop knot. Loop knots are easy. Another thing, like looking at the vibes. Vibes are usually got a ring on the top. So once again, just a uni knot. And plenty of action. Okay. Next one is if you don't want to tie knots, or you're not that comfortable tying knots all the time and not very good at tying knots, or you're in a hurry, you can go to the speed clips. And when I mention speed clips to most people, they look at me like, what the hell's that? They don't know. What a speed clip is just a very small light snap. They even go a lot smaller than this, half the size of this one, but I haven't got any smaller ones because most of my stuff's big gear now. So that's the smallest one I had. But hopefully you can see there on the camera, there's a little clip there. And it's with these little lures, like these little micro mullets and small ones for brim and flathead and stuff. They can be fiddly tying little light leaders all the time. So if you've got a little tiny speed clip on the end, these are just, you just push with your finger. They open up, slide off, get off. See? Then put a new one back on. They're just a little snap, a little light gauge snap, which is fine for little light fishing and light gear. You can buy speed clips in heavier versions for bigger lures. They do come in different sizes. So if you want to use them for something like that, and then even bigger plastics, you don't want to tie knots, you can buy these speed clips. They do come in different sizes. If you're not sure what size to use, go to your local tackle shop, ask away. Your guys in there should point you in the right direction. Sorry guys, I'm struggling to breathe today. It's really humid. Really humid. Okay, so speed clips, all different sizes if you don't want to tie knots all the time. Oh, and the knot I use to tie the speed clip on, once again, uni knot. Just tie a uni knot to your speed clip on the end of your line. Swap lures all day long, quick, easy, fast. Next one we're going to get to is if I'm going like offshore, trolling things like this for mackerel. Okay, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can either, once again, use a decent quality swivel at the front. That's a little bit smaller than the last one I showed you, so it shouldn't interfere with the action too much, but still I'd go smaller than that. But what I'm saying is, be careful, guys. Don't go buying small snaps and a cheap version. A lot of guys will go see ball bearing snaps and they're like $6 for a couple. Oh, there, we'll grab them. Don't. They're shit. They are. These wires will undo or even straighten. They're only a weak wire. If you're dead set serious about chasing good quality fish offshore, running gear like this, and you want to use snaps to put your lures on, go spend some money and buy some decent snaps. Like I can get a snap half the size of this, really small, and they're called Sampos. They're expensive, but you'll never undo them. They won't undo or break, even though they're small, compact. Don't go buy small, cheap ones. It's not going to do you any favours. You're going to lose your favourite lures. Okay? Especially nowadays, when most of the guys I see are running 50 and 80 pound braid for everything. It's like, damn. So, yes, don't go buy the cheap ones. Unless you're running light gauge line, 6-8 kilo, you might get away with it. You're running heavier line, go spend some money, buy decent quality snaps. And once again, go to your local tackle store and they'll tell you, and you'll know the decent ones because they're like $30 for a pair. Probably even more now, I haven't bought them for a while. So I'll put snaps on that one. And the other way, if I'm going offshore, trawling, for a day of trawling, I can do that as well. Rig them up at home. You can do this either with wire or with mono, depending on what you're chasing. Like if I had this one rigged up as is, I'll be probably out chasing tuna. So your big deep diving lures, and you see there, we've got a crimp. Protected tube, just a nice tube, crimped on. Just crimped onto the nose swivel, so that's not going to change all day. And that will go to, like, there'll be a long leader to the rod, or it'll be a short leader to a snap swivel, but a little tiny strong snap swivel, depending on how you want to rig it. But that's another way to do things. That's not a bad way, but if you get bitten off, you're going to need to have your pliers and your crimps and your protected tube and all on board to crimp on another lure straight away. That's the only downside of this. With a snap swivel, you can just change them straight out. Okay, it holds and swims well. It just, if you want to change it or get bitten off, you need all your tools to, make another one. So that's the downside of that. And last but not least, you can do this method on all size lures. It doesn't matter, just vary your size of your swivel to what you're going to use. But myself, and I know a lot of guys do, when you're using big poppers and stuff, we end up putting a swivel on the end. If you can see that, hopefully on the camera. There's a decent split ring in there, joined into the lure, and then a decent size rolling swivel. And then once again, I just tie a uni knot straight to that. And that's how I rig up like big poppers and things. You can use these swivels on the smaller lures if you want to put smaller swivels on these lures. It's not a bad thing, especially with split rings, because split rings do have a sharper edge. And if you do get into a really long fight, over time, that might cut through your line. I haven't had that happen in forever, so I'm not too concerned about that part, but I have heard it happens to some people. So you can put swivels on, like even things like this, or your vibes, but make them small, very small and black. Just small and black, strong, small, black. Once again, don't go buy the cheapest ones you can find, buy a decent one. Okay? So, you can see the swivel there for poppers. That's the other way to rig up lures. But for most of the guys coming in the shop and asking me questions, just for general fishing, like using things like jerk baits or bigger plastics around the shallows and rivers and stuff, tie them straight on with a uni knot if they've got a split ring on them. If they haven't, use a loop knot, just a good old loop knot. Go have a look on YouTube, you'll find it, it's everywhere, how to tie it. And last but not least, go in your local tackle shops and ask for some speed clips. If you can be bothered tying knots, just get some speed clips. Tell the guys what sort of fishing you're going to do, what sort of lures, so they'll match you up with a speed clip that's going to suit what you're doing, suit your needs. Hopefully not one too small or that'll break, so the guys in the shop should know that. I can't speak, should know that. Yeah, anyway guys, that's it. Just back to basics, how to set up lures for, this is for casting and trolling, doesn't matter what you do, or even teabagging, casting, trolling, teabagging, whatever. Yeah, that's some of the easiest and best ways is to connect your lures. Forget about using big heavy duty snaps, go to small speed clips or just tie your stock standard knots, the uni knot or the loop knot. That's all you're going to need to put on all these lures, guys. That's it. And once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you again next week for another one. Bye, guys.